It was a rainy Thursday when I got the text. Hey, I'm finally moving out of that old place. Could really use a hand if you're free. It was from Lily, a friend from college I hadn't heard from in over a year. We weren't close anymore, but we shared memories, late-night coffees before finals, and a connection that never quite disappeared. She was always a little different, quiet, thoughtful, but with a glimmer of mystery in her eyes, like she knew things the rest of us didn't. I didn't hesitate. I had a free day and nothing pressing, so I grabbed my hoodie, hopped into my car, and made my way to her apartment, tucked in an older part of town where time felt like it ran slower. When I pulled up, her building looked exactly as I remembered. Faded bricks, ivy creeping along the sides, and windows that always seemed too dark, even during the day. As I climbed the stairs, each creaky step seemed to echo through the hallway. Her door was already ajar, just slightly. I knocked anyway. "Come in," her voice called from inside, soft and calm. I stepped in, instantly greeted by the scent of sandalwood and something else. Old books, or maybe aged wood. The apartment looked lived in, but untouched, like a museum curated by a ghost. Boxes were stacked near the door, but oddly, very little was packed. She appeared from the hallway, her long hair tied up messily, wearing an oversized sweater and a distant smile. "Hey," she said, hugging me quickly. "Thanks for coming." I nodded. "You said you were moving?" I glanced at the room. It didn't look ready for a move at all. She laughed lightly, but there was no humor in it. "Yeah, I guess I haven't really started yet. Got overwhelmed." I offered to start boxing up the books on the shelf. She watched me for a moment, then turned and disappeared into another room. As I packed, something fell off. A picture frame on the shelf caught my eye. It was a photo of Lily and a man I didn't recognize. Her hand was in his, both of them smiling, but there was something odd about the man's expression, strained, almost frightened. I was about to ask her about it when she returned with 2 mugs of tea. "Take a break," she said, setting them down. "You don't have to rush." I sat, more out of politeness than thirst. The tea was warm and sweet, but I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling growing in my stomach. She sat across from me, legs folded, staring with a strange intensity. "You ever feel like you're not alone, even when you are?" she asked. I blinked. "What do you mean?" "Like the walls remember things. Like they breathe when you're not looking." Her voice was soft, almost dreamy. I half laughed, unsure if she was joking. "This place gives you weird dreams after a while," she added, eyes drifting toward the hallway. "You'll see." I didn't answer. A moment later, she stood abruptly. "I've got something upstairs I need help with. Come on." I followed her to a narrow staircase I'd never noticed before, tucked behind a heavy curtain. It led to a cramped attic, filled with dusty furniture, old paintings covered in sheets, and cobwebs that glimmered in the low light. "That trunk," she said, pointing to a large, black case in the corner. I walked over and tried to lift it. It didn't budge. "It's locked," I said. "No," she whispered. "It's sealed." Before I could respond, I heard it. A faint scratching sound. Not loud, but deliberate, coming from inside the trunk. I stepped back. "Lily, what the hell is that?" Her eyes stayed fixed on the trunk. "It started a few months ago, after he moved in." "Who?" I asked, but she didn't answer. Instead, she turned to me with a look I'll never forget. Sadness, fear, and something like hope. "Stay a while," she said. "Just for tonight. I don't want to be alone with it anymore." I should have left right then. I should have said no. But something in her voice, something in her eyes, made me nod. "Okay," I whispered. That night, I slept on her couch. Or at least I tried. I could hear it, the scratching. Sometimes soft, sometimes more urgent. At one point, I swear I heard a voice. Muffled. Male. Crying. Begging. I sat up, heart pounding. Lily was standing in the hallway, just watching me. "You hear it too," she said quietly. "He tried to leave. I told him not to go in there. But he didn't listen." "Who is he?" I asked again. She turned and walked back toward the attic. I followed. Lily, what's in the trunk? I demanded. The truth, she said. The worst kind. The kind you can't unsee once you find it. She pulled something from her pocket, a small silver key. Slowly, she knelt before the trunk and unlocked it. The lid creaked open. The stench hit me first, like rotting leaves and something dead. Inside were layers of blankets, and then a camera. Just a camera. He was a filmmaker, she said. He wanted to do a documentary on haunted places. He thought this place would be perfect. She handed me the camera. Watch. I didn't want to, but I did. The footage showed her apartment, much like it looked now. The man from the photo, her boyfriend, I assumed, was walking around, filming himself. Day 1. Day 2. Strange noises. Doors closing. Lights flickering. On day 5, he went into the attic. The footage was shaky, erratic. He was talking, nervously, pointing at the trunk. Something's inside, he whispered. Then the video went black. The screen showed static for a moment, then returned. It was still filming, but the camera was no longer in his hand. It sat on the floor, tilted. He was nowhere to be seen, just the sound of breathing. And then, the whisper, stay a while. I dropped the camera. What happened to him? I asked. He never left, Lily said simply. He became part of it, part of this place. I backed away. I can't stay here. She shook her head. You already did. I didn't understand until I turned and saw the door at the bottom of the stairs. Closed. Locked. I rushed to it, yanked at the handle. Nothing. Let me out. I shouted. You don't understand, she said softly. The house chooses. It likes some people. It keeps them. I stared at her, betrayed and terrified. You brought me here on purpose. Not to hurt you, she said. To survive. It's either you or me. What are you talking about? She looked down. Someone has to stay. If I leave without replacing myself, it won't let me go. I was shaking, furious, heartbroken. I help you, I said. I trusted you. I didn't want it to be you, she whispered. But you answered. No one else did. I turned and ran, trying every window, every exit. They wouldn't open. Time passed strangely. Hours felt like minutes, or maybe the other way around. I stopped seeing her after the 3rd day. She was gone, just like that. But the scratching never stopped. Neither did the whispers. I screamed. I begged. But no one came. And then, I stopped fighting. I started listening, talking to it. The thing in the trunk. It whispered back. It told me secrets. Showed me things I shouldn't have seen. And over time, I stopped wanting to leave. I started to understand. The house didn't trap people. It called them. The ones who were empty, forgotten, desperate for meaning. It gave them something to belong to. Now, I sit in Lily's old chair. She comes back sometimes, usually with someone new. And when she does, I say the same thing she once said to me, the words that changed everything. Stay a while. And sometimes they do.